Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having a car social. Saturday, October 15th, 9 to noon. It's a cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Corvettes, and Shelby Mustangs. Get social at this first ever event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's
Can I just interrupt this commercial for something?
Go right ahead.
Because I've loaded up the wrong. I've loaded up
this off.
What? Yeah, you can take that off. I've loaded up the wrong commercial. Problem is with this system, this jacked up system that we've got here, is that I can't preview it until we actually put it on the air.
And we can still hear it in the back.
Yeah, I know. Well, here.
Coatings, Exo Shield for your windshield, and Expel window tint, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too.
No, it won't. That's not.
That was a previous.
What is it, Morris?
So we got.
No, I can't hear you without a headset and microphone on.
So we have George,
We have George.
and I can hear George great.
But George
we're not-
can't hear us.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm hoping that after you pot him up, he can.
Pot him up. Hey, George, are you there?
George.
George of the jungle. Nope, can't hear him. All right, well, there's that. So we'll worry about getting George on here in just a minute. He's written a book called Jim Hall and His Chaparrals by George Levy with Jim Hall.
Love Chaparral.
I don't know whether everybody remembers what the Chaparral actually is, but we'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Cool race car.
If nothing else, we'll get into it and not know what we're talking about,
And
which
make
is
it
more
up.
likely than not.
Sure.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and start the bottom of the hour show? Shall we?
Oh, wait. I've got to load it then. All right. We got it.
What,
Help yourself.
What do you have to load?
Help yourself.
This is a ball of confusion,
Yeah.
and we're going to rename the show just that. Thanks for putting up with our idiocy. And thanks for joining us on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Ahead, author of a new book about the Texas racer Jim Hall. Later, Jeff has this week's Motor Minute, and I'll have this week's Stories Making Automotive News headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin, IT genius David Ainsley. I'm no one that you've ever known before, and you don't ever want to get to know. Because it's a big mess. That's all I can tell you. But thanks for joining us today on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We're trying to get
Audio.
Dial it up and trying to get our author George Levy on here with a great book called Texas Legends: Jim Hall and His Chaparrals. It's available to the public in July. An early launch of the book will take place June 29th in Midland, Texas, at the annual Chaparral Party on the Patio. Let's go there.
Yeah, I know. Mike?
Oh,
I'm
man,
going.
I talked to him about coming out there. Not that we can, but
We can.
It's at the museum. It's actually at the museum, and he is going to be there.
Who's he?
Mr. Hall. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if George is going to be there or not. But, yeah, it's a big deal.
Interesting. Hall tells his story, his life, his cars, his relationship with Chevrolet, his partnership with Hap Sharp, his battles with sanctioning body bureaucracies. For the first time, to award-winning author George Levy, this is an authorized biography of Jim Hall. So it's good. Do you know what a Chaparral is?
It's the style of race car.
It is. It's a bodied race car, if memory serves. And I was enamored by it. This is back in the 60s when this all started.
Yeah, a very radical design back then.
It was.
In my opinion.
Yep, it was. And let's see, there are other voices in the book called, you know these names, Jackie Stewart, Dan Gurney.
Oh, man.
Roger Penske, Jackie Ickes, John Bernard, Gordon Murray, Adrian Newey, Brian
Jackie Hicks
Redmond,
isn't with us anymore, is
Don Garlitz, Dick Smothers, Bernie Ecclestone, and Al and Bobby Unser. So
And that's one thing. The Smothers brothers were into racing, especially Dick Smothers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, like a celebrity racing team. Sort of like the
Permian
guy, the kid from Malcolm in the Middle, Munoz. He is in racing, NASCAR racing. He does ARCA and all that, yeah.
I didn't realize that. Permian Basin Petroleum Museum will host the June 29th launch in the legendary Midland, where the Chaparrals were built and where they were tested at Hall's iconic Rattlesnake Raceway.
Ooh.
So,
Very
anyway,
cool.
a limited number of books will be signed by Hall and be made available by the museum. So, if you'd like to get more information on that, go to evropublishing.com.
I wonder if they would have information how to get there and,
I'm sure
the
they
area on
yeah.
what to do, hotels and all
Yeah,
that.
Permian Basin Petroleum Museum. Look that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Price of the book is $80.
Okay.
Not cheap, but I buy books for cut pictures.
Yeah, it's a coffee table type book.
Yeah,
big
that's cool.
hardback.
Did he send you one?
No,
Well,
This kind of came up at the last minute,
Yeah.
so I think we can talk to him now. He's on the phone.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Hey guys.
George, we
There
can
he
hear
is.
you.
Yeah, you need to turn the audio off on your computer though if you're going to use the phone audio.
We've had all sorts of
There you
technical
go.
issues this morning.
We got a computer that's on, but we don't know what it does.
Yeah. Well, George, we apologize, but apparently we don't need to apologize too far because you I see a big smile on your face, so you kind of get it,
Good story.
It may be on my end. I'm not sure what's
Oh, well, don't worry
No
about it.
worries.
It's probably on our end, too. So we'll get married.
Good story.
Listen, I love the book. Tell me for everybody that's listening or watching, what made it a Chaparral? It's a certain kind of car, a bodied car.
Yeah, I think Jim and Chaparral, more than anything else, stood for innovation, and a very Texas-style innovation. I think during the 50s and 60s, Chaparral was kind of the NASA of international motor racing.
Yeah.
And I mean, where did the Chaparral race? In what division? What sanctioning body?
It was road racing both in America and abroad. They competed in the Can-Am series, which would be, I guess, most analogous to today's IMSA. They competed at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Nürburgring, all the great tracks around the world, and they won major races in every category they competed in.
How old is Jim now?
Jim, in about another 30 days, give or take, is going to be 89 years old.
I was going to say somewhere around 90 because I remember him having this huge mark on the auto racing industry. There was a guy that, and I don't remember what his name was, but he lived in my neighborhood back in the 60s, and he had a Chaparral style car. Now, whether it was original or whatever, but he trailered it around in an open trailer.
Yeah.
And so you could see the car when he'd pull out. And it was sponsored by Prince's Hamburgers, which means nothing to you here, but it is iconic hamburger joint back in the day, drive-in style hamburgers. And I'll never forget the car because it was so unique looking. There wasn't anything else like it.
Yeah, all of Jim's cars, and he had a partner, by the way, Half Sharp at the beginning, and Jim was a Caltech engineering grad, and he drove most of the design and engineering of the cars, and they all were very innovative, but probably the one thing above everything else that drove the way the cars looked was downforce. In the 60s, no one in racing thought about downforce, using the air flowing over and under and around the car to press the car down against the track for greater traction. Jim introduced the concept of downforce, introduced wings to cars, and to give you an idea of how transformational that was, not only does every single type of racing car today take downforce into consideration as one of the primary design directives, but as you guys know, every high-performance road car now, Corvettes, Ferraris, Porsches, they all brag about how much downforce they're creating as they go down the road.
Did he know Carroll Shelby?
He not only knew Carroll Shelby, he was in business with Carroll. In the mid-'50s, Carroll wanted to earn some money. He was an amateur racer. The road racing in those days, the SCCA forbid professional racers and sponsorship. So Carroll was a terrific racer himself. Jim was just graduating from college. And Carroll got together with Jim's older brother, Dick Hall, and opened Carroll Shelby Sport Cars in Dallas. And when Jim graduated from Caltech, he had been promised a job at General Motors. The economy went through a downturn. They weren't hiring. And so Jim actually went to work at Carroll Shelby Sport Cars, and that's how he got his start in racing.
And I assume that part of the story is in the book.
It is indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Did A.J. Foyt have a Chaparral during some of the Indy runs, early Indy runs that he had? I don't know if he drove a Chaparral or didn't he own a team that had a Chaparral? I'm guessing it comes to mind.
Yeah, no worries. As a fellow Texan, they were rivals. Jim never sold Chaparrals, and any of the mid-engine Chaparral sports cars or any of the Indy cars, they never sold them to other teams. They always went it alone. So,
Okay.
no, AJ didn't have one.
All right.
Interesting. But, Jim rubbed elbows with a lot of famous people, apparently. I know that you've got some interviews with Jackie Stewart, Roger Penske, Jackie Ickx, of all people.
Yeah.
You don't hear that name very often anymore, but these are really forerunners in auto racing.
Yeah, all those guys that you mentioned drove for Jim in various cars. Johnny Rutherford, Al Unser, the list. Phil Hill, who was America's first world champion. They all drove for Chaparral. When Jackie Stewart drove for Chaparral in 1970 in the famous fan car or sucker car, Jackie was contracted to Ford. He was contracted to Goodyear as sponsors, and yet when I talked to Jackie, he wanted to try this new, crazy, innovative car so much that he went and drove this Chevy-powered, Firestone-tired car at Watkins Glen.
Interesting story. So tell me about the Midland, Texas annual Chaparral party on the patio. Are you going to go?
I'm going to go. More importantly, a whole bunch of people related to the Chaparral effort are going to be there. It's an annual party, like it sounds like. It's a barbecue. It's this coming Saturday or a week from today, the 29th, in Midland, Texas. There may still be tickets, so if anybody else there wants to go, they should contact the Petroleum Museum in Midland. And basically, once a year, they have a barbecue. They take one of the cars out of the museum. All the Chaparrals are on display in the Petroleum Museum on a permanent exhibit. They take one of the cars out, do some demonstration laps out in front of the track, and then after dinner, Jim holds court and answers questions and tells stories. And this year, there's the added element that the launch of the book is taking place there.
I want to go.
Yep.
It's only a day's drive for us to get out there.
You guys, I tell you, I mean, I'm the president of the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. We hold annual induction ceremonies, which are very highly regarded. You and I have both been to major automotive events. This is a very special thing. And this year in particular, I don't know, the book, the cover photo on the book was taken by a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer by the name of Bob Jackson, and he's won the Pulitzer Prize for a photo he took in Texas, in Dallas, on November 24th of 1963, the famous shot of Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. That was Bob Jackson. 30 or 40 of his photos are in the book, and he's going to be at the party next week. So,
oh my God! So I mean, we're going to get we're going to get lots of bonuses by attending this. Is there a fee to attend it? Can anybody attend?
So anybody can attend. There is a fee. I think the way the tickets work at the museum is that you have to become a member of the Chaparral pit crew, is what they call it, or the kind of the fan club. But that's $50, and that gets you admission to the event, and it's as simple as that.
Well, I know that you're looking for. Where do you live?
I live in Daytona Beach, Florida. The Motorsports Hall of Fame of America is based here, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, very good. Well, my daughter actually went to school at Embry-Riddle for a short period of time, which is right across from you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what a great book. Lucky you. How long did it take you to write this?
Jim and I worked on it for 6 or 7 years, believe it or not. There were over 100 interviews. There were photos from not just Bob Jackson, but my old friend Pete Byro and a lot of the other great motorsports photographers. And there's a lot of information that's never been unveiled before, and it took some time for both of us.
Well, I can only imagine the phone calls back and forth. The long distance charges must have been huge. But all I can think of is that in a 6 or 7 year odyssey, if you want to call it that, to get this book written, there had to be a lot of back and forth. Hey, tell me about this aspect? Tell me about this. How did you do this? When did this happen? That sort of thing. Is that the way it worked?
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth like that. And then, of course, you have to verify everything, whether it was Jim or Jackie Stewart or Dan Gurney or anyone else that I spoke with. We all have imperfect memories. So the bane of every author is that, you do an interview, you hear a great story, and if the story is particularly good, then you worry, I hope the heck I can verify that. And fortunately, all the stories in the book are things that we were able to verify.
Well, George, it's called a tape recorder, my friend. and for you and I mean, especially at this point in my age, that's become very important because I can't remember things. And it's very difficult, and especially when you get into details of writing a book. How many pages in the book?
The book is close to 500 pages. There are close to that many photos.
Wow.
As well.
Yeah. Well, so you've certainly done your homework, and I know that it's going to pay off for you because even I know of Jim Hall. I know the Chaparrals, and especially the interviews that you've done with Jackie Ickx and others, Brian Redmond, Don Garlitz, of all people, the drag racer, Dick Smothers, and we were just talking about it before we got you on the air with us, the fact that Dick was a big racing fan.
One of the real joys of this process is the conversations that you have, and Dick is one of the most fascinating guys. If you talk to him, you know that he's a really deep guy, interesting guy, and there are just so many great anecdotes, so many great stories in the book and it all comes from talking to people like that.
The book is called Texas Legend, Jim Hall and His Chaparrals. George Levy is the author, and he's with us now. And George, we thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful day down there in Daytona Beach, and hope everybody gets to meet you and Jim Hall at the big event that's coming up next Saturday at the Permian Basin Petroleum Museum out in Midland. Thanks again for joining us.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good racing knowledge.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are at your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000 square foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. Want to feel good about something special you did for someone special? In Wheel Time and the original Lupe Tortilla group of Tex-Mex restaurants have joined together to help a very worthy cause, God's Garage, a Christian-based 501c3 charity. We know there are lots of places and organizations out there where you can donate a car, truck, or SUV, but we're asking you, our car enthusiast family, to consider donating to God's Garage. Visit godsgarage.org and learn about its mission, the women that have been helped, how each one is screened, and about their Restore You program. A car donation is an easy way to make a difference in the lives of others. God's Garage needs good operating vehicles, but will take all types in working and non-working condition. Make your heart and soul feel good by donating your gently used vehicle and help support single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military at godsgarage.org.
Hey, welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for riding with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email anytime. The address is info@inwheeltime.com.
Woo-hoo.
Time now for Jeff's Motor Minute.
My Motor Minute. Well, I want a quick shout out to Joey Kramer. Joey Kramer is the drummer to Aerosmith, turned 73 years old yesterday. What a collection of snare drums he has. So just want to throw it out there to Joey. Have you ever wondered what the little black dots are around your windshield? Have you ever wondered why they're there? What are the purpose?
I think that it's a different way of shading.
In some respects, it is. So what about those little black dots on the edges? Well, we've all seen them, those tiny black dots lining the edges of your windshield, especially on newer cars. They might seem like an afterthought, but those little dots are called frits, F-R-I-T.
I used to know a Fritz.
I did too. These tiny dots, they heat up quicker than the rest of the windshield. By heating it up first, the frits help prevent the windshield from fogging up. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Was that. Yeah. So it keeps your view clear. It's especially important when you're on the road. The frit also helps reduce optical distortion. Didn't know that. That means the straight lines you see through the glass won't appear curved or warped, which can happen without those little dots on there.
Optical illusions.
So in short, these seemingly simple black spots on the windshield can play a crucial role in improving safety and comfort while traveling. Although many drivers may not have realized the importance, you can now appreciate the small detail in automotive engineering.
The little black dots.
The little black dot, the frits.
Fritz.
Hey,
Is it F-R-I-T-Z?
Sort of like this computer right now is on the frits.
Oh, that.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why Mars is running in and out. And
He's on the fritz.
What is he doing?
I think he had beans for dinner, and he just...
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
Were they pinto or butter?
I don't know, but he's doing all his technical abilities. So
Stellantis is recalling 1,159,963.1 vehicles in the U.S. and Canada due to an issue with radio software that might interfere with the car's rear-view camera display.
Huh.
Explain that one, Lucy.
I don't know. Is it AM?
It doesn't say. The recall covers 21 to 23 Pacificas, 21 to 22 Durangos, 22 to 23 Compass, 21 to 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 22 to 23 Wagoneer, 22 to 23 Grand Wagoneer, ProMaster van, Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 vehicles. Affected vehicles' rear-view cameras might not function when backing up, increasing the risk of a crash. My God. Are you kidding me? The recalls on some of these manufacturers just continues and on and on. Ford has a major problem with that.
Yeah, Mercedes, too.
Fisker Ocean, loss of drive power. 2023, I guess it won't make any difference since they're not making them anymore, but if you bought one. Incorrectly displayed warning lights on the Fisker Ocean for 2023. Maybe that's why they're filed for Chapter 11.
Could be.
Overloaded electrical system may cause a fire on the Ford E450.
Uh-oh. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, a big thermal event.
Side curtain airbags may not deploy properly in the Rivian R1S and the R1T for 22 to 24. Hyundai Santa Cruz, the 2024 model year, along with the Hyundai Tucson, can have a loss of power steering assist. Inoperative trailer lighting in the Jeep Wrangler for 2024. All these are recalls. Ram ProMaster 21 to 24. The missing door beam and incorrect label is being
Door beam.
The door beam. Now wait a minute. That's the one for side impact.
Yeah.
It's the great big guardrail looking thing that's inside the door.
Yeah.
How can one be missing?
It's
Jeff,
not there.
Jeff, I'm sorry. I can't find
I don't have it.
I can't find it. So we're just not going to put it in the door. Never mind.
I could say something about that. Great Lakes Steel they made the steel to make those in Detroit. Yeah, I know that.
Well, apparently they didn't ship it to
They made one less.
The Ram ProMaster, so there's that. Chevy Corvette. Inaccessible front seat belts, 24 and 25. Inaccessible. In other words, you can't use it or get to it.
Didn't they
what
stop?
does that mean?
That was a stop.
It was a stop sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's being recalled, even though you can't sell them anymore. Kia Sportage 2024, loss of power steering assist. Audi Q8 e-tron and Q8 Sportback e-tron for 24.
That's a pretty car.
Being recalled over tightened brake line that may fail because of that. Improperly tightened seat belt bolt in the Jeep Grand Wagoneer 2023. How does this happen? Because the guy that puts that in there has a ratchet, a power tool that has a certain torque rating on it, and the thing stops when it gets to a certain torque.
Yeah.
Don't they check them?
Well, they might check the torque ratio on the tool, but do they actually check the
tool?
Yeah.
Rear-view camera image may not display in the Ram 1500 for 2022. And Toyota has issued a stop sale on its two largest three-row crossovers, saying it'll recall an estimated 145,000 24 model year Toyota Grand Highlanders and Lexus TXs because the driver's side curtain shield airbag may not deploy as intended during some crashes if the driver's window is rolled down. And those are your recalls for today.
Wow.
It's a bunch, man.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, you'd think that they would take more care about not having recalls. The deal is that every car has a built-in price for recalls in case they happen.
That's what I understand, yeah.
But when you get to 1 million vehicles, it's not good for the brand, much less the car itself.
And, how did the first one get out? Or the first 10? Or the first 500? Or the first 1,000? How did those,
First 50,000.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I'm sure that there's an excuse for it, but, boy, I would have a major problem. Mars?
He's looking for the steel thing.
Wait a minute. He's looking at the steel thing. But the vacuum cleaner is in the house if that's what you want to get up and vacuum while you're in here.
Well, I was thinking about it.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got whatever it is that you're up and down about over here all fixed up now?
Next week we're bringing laundry in.
Actually, we do.
I can do my delicates.
All right. Well, because the washing machine, it's empty right now, and you could do a load of laundry while you're up and running about. There's been a lot of up and down. The agitator's working.
Oh.
That would be me.
That would be you.
He's not even paying any
Yeah,
attention.
Yes, I am.
He's
I'm
just
just ignoring you.
Like everybody else does. All right, time now for a quick break. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We're back after this.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana, the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.